It's talk time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk Time by Teacher Victoria. My name is Hiroko and I am here to talk about an interesting take on the question, are there really more versions of the truth? In recent years, the phrase, "This is my truth," has become a cultural staple. It appears in personal narratives, TED Talks and Instagram captions alike, a declaration of individual experience, often offered as a counterbalance to established norms or dominant narratives. But this raises a profound and ancient question. Are there really multiple versions of the truth? And if so, can any of them be called the truth at all? Let's start by acknowledging where this idea comes from. In many ways, the surge of my truth is a response to historical silencing of women, minorities, marginalized voices, people whose experiences were invalidated by those in power. Saying "this is my truth" is not always about philosophical relativism. Sometimes it's an act of defiance, a way to be heard after centuries of being dismissed. But when we pull it out of that context and use it casually in arguments on social media in defense of unprovable claims, it starts to morph into something else. It becomes a shield, not a window. It stops being a voice and starts becoming a verdict. And that's where things get slippery. Let's be clear. There is a difference between truth and experience. You may feel something intensely. You may experience a situation in a way that is emotionally valid and psychologically real. But feeling something does not make it fact. If two people walk into a room and one says it's freezing and the other says it's warm, those are subjective experiences, both valid in their own way. But the objective temperature remains what it is. So what do we mean by truth, really? In philosophy, truth has traditionally been tied to correspondence. A statement is true if it corresponds to reality. The Earth orbits the Sun is true because it reflects the actual structure of the solar system. That's not my truth or your truth, it's just the truth, full stop. But then comes the human problem. We don't always perceive reality clearly. We carry bias, trauma, culture, language, memory distortion, and emotional filters. So what we call our truth is often our perception, not necessarily the truth. This doesn't mean it's worthless. Far from it. Listening to someone's story, especially one that's been ignored, can reveal deeper truths about society, justice, and empathy. But it also means we have to draw a line between truth as a universal constant and truth as a personal experience. Consider the courtroom. A witness may say, "To the best of my knowledge, this is what happened." That's valid testimony, but it's still filtered through human memory, which is notoriously unreliable. So the court demands evidence, something concrete that supports or disproves a version of the story. Because if there are endless versions of the truth with no test of coherence or consistency, then truth becomes meaningless. That's the danger we face today. In a post-truth era, where alternative facts are cited with a straight face and misinformation spreads faster than correction, treating every opinion as a version of the truth weakens our shared grasp of reality. It becomes too easy to say, "That's just my truth," to avoid accountability, argument, or correction. But truth, without scrutiny, is just belief with better branding. So how many versions of the truth are there? Well, there is one truth, but there are many perspectives on it. Just like there is one mountain, but different people can climb it from different sides, see different views, experience different weather. Their stories matter, but the mountain is still the mountain. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes the truth is so complex that no single perspective can capture it alone. That's why science values replication. That's why journalism needs multiple sources. That's why history must include many voices. Because the whole truth, the one that's closest to objective reality, is not found in isolation. It's built through collaboration, debate, and evidence. So what do we do with my truth? We respect it, we listen to it, but we don't stop there. We hold it up to the light, ask questions, compare notes, seek evidence. That's not disrespectful. That's how we get closer to the truth. And maybe that's the point. Truth is not a possession. It's a pursuit. It's not something you claim. It's something you refine. If we want a society grounded in reality, not just personal narratives, then we have to be brave enough to distinguish between feelings and facts, experience and evidence, story and structure. Because if everything is truth, then nothing is. This is Hiroko. These are my personal views on the truth. If you are interested in discussing this and other topics here in Talk Time, please feel free to get in touch with Teacher Victoria. Details are in the description box.